Minister Puri, sir, thank you so much for joining us here at CNBC TV 18. We know you've had a very long day, many meetings and many roundtables as well.
The day just started. We still have another few hours to go.
Oh, absolutely. Sir, I want to start with the crude oil prices itself. I mean, I do understand that there are geopolitical tensions and tariffs and then very volatile crude oil prices. Is it keeping it at your feet all the time?
If you talk to the people who deal with crude oil prices in terms of a profession, they will tell you that the volatility in crude oil prices is not as high as, for instance, in coal and gas, etc. But I think your question essentially stems from the right, sentiment. Where do you see prices? I keep coming back in an old-fashioned way to the view that it ultimately depends on how much crude oil availability there is. And I can tell you, ma'am, there is no shortage of crude oil in the world. The existing suppliers cut back 5 million barrels a day. From 102, they brought it down to 97. There's more and more oil coming in from the Western Hemisphere. Brazil, Argentina, Guyana, Suriname, Canada, United States, which is the largest producer with 13 million barrels, putting another million and a half. So availability is there. And I continue to believe that irrespective of how the demand takes place in the major markets, some world markets are flat. Some others have weaponized this and shot themselves in the foot in terms of not buying from source X or Y. But all said and considered, if you look at the overall canvas, we today have a situation there's enough energy available. Both oil and in the coming time gas. So it should ensure that the precise concern you have on volatility, it will be within a range. I don't like to speculate on what the range is, but I think you would be safe in saying it's not going to go up too much or come down too much.
Sir, you've emphasized enough times that you are importing or we are sourcing oil from 39 countries now. But sanctions on Russia, and yes, we took it in, and now sanctions on various Iran entities as well.
First of all, there are no sanctions on Russia. Please, I want to clarify that once and for all. There was a price cap.
Right.
Today, Europe, which talks about sanctions, is importing 25% of its requirements on gas from Russia. The energy which comes through a pipeline to Hungary has always been exempt. What is going to Sakhalin is exempt. So where are the sanctions? Today, yes, some additional entities have done. We are very clear. We buy through the floating of tenders at the point of importation. And we will continue to float those tenders. So from 0.2% it went up. Today it's come down. Will it continue? I see this exercise going on all the time. We buy 5 million barrels. When we were buying, there were 800,000 barrels coming in from 5 countries in the Middle East, in the Gulf. Today that will go up and down depending on the price. And I think a large market like India, which consumes a fairly significant percentage of the total oil produced in the world per day, is in a position to diversify its sources and also have an impact on the price.
The other buzzword clearly around IEW this time around has been around AI. So the question really arises is whether it's about AI into energy sector or energy that AI really consumes.
Both. It has to be both. I mean, if you look at the data centers, my God, how much energy will they require? If you look at AI, if you start using AI, I'm already very impressed with the fact that our AI is being used by our oil marketing companies, by the refineries and anyone else. So it's a story which is just beginning. When the Prime Minister organized the entire government of India, I mean government, entire council of ministers, all the secretaries to be present in Vigyan Bhavan for a presentation of AI several years ago, 5 years ago or something like that. I mean, at that stage, people are not understanding the full. Today, my God, AI, machine learning, the whole fourth industrial revolution. And if you look at the history, I mean, Britain dominated the first industrial revolution through coal. Then along came the Americans on oil, and then the Middle East. Today, this fourth industrial revolution and AI and all the other fields, they are significant drivers.
So, 5 years ago, if you talked about renewables, or 5 to 7 years ago, there was a lot of confusion on we have hydrogen and we're talking about solar and we're talking about ethanol as well. Would you say we've found stability now and there is growth?
No, there are still skeptics. When I talk about green hydrogen being something in the near to medium term, a lot of my own colleagues say, kahan hoga bhai? बता रहा हूँ, अभी देखो क्या होगा. एक टेंडर फ्लोट किया, देखो क्या global response आया. If one of my companies, which has 11 refineries, they're trying to use green hydrogen in 2, let them take it to 4 and 5, let's see what happens. It's a question of scale. Would you ever have believed in 2014 that we'll do 20% blending by 2025? Nobody would have believed you. So this is the real story about the scale of the revolution taking place. There's continuity, but there's change, and that change is bringing in continuity also.
But would you say these skeptics have turned into healthy skeptics now?
No. A skeptic by definition is a skeptic. So there's whether healthy or unhealthy, he or she enjoys being a skeptic. So let them continue with her skepticism. We'll have a couple of guys like me who are optimists, so we'll balance them.
I also want to talk about ethanol. I mean, that's a question that I asked you, but beyond 20%, what is the preparation?
Well, the discussions have started, and I think very soon we will have some ideas, because this has to be done through the ecosystem and all, the automobile manufacturer. Now we've got an HPCL kit where for 1,000 rupees you can convert a two-wheeler or three-wheeler to use biofuels. So as we go along, we shall discuss the story with you further. Yeah.
I have one final question, and this is on nuclear, and I do understand your enthusiasm onto that one as well, but are you still waiting for numbers?
But this is something on which the narrative has started. I mean, in subsequent sessions, I think we should include nuclear also as one of the thematic areas. But for that, some developments need to take place. Some people need to shed their inhibition. We need to revisit the liability laws. We need to do other things. And then it will move. Hopefully this time in much smoother and a more seamless manner than last time.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out for us today. Thank you.